Hey everybody, welcome welcome to the Weapon Works podcast. I'm Zach with Weapon Works LLC, and I am joined today by none other than Mr. Sarah Coat that shit himself, Mike from Blown Deadline. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Zach.
I appreciate you popping on here with me, man. We're laughing a little bit because my dumbass didn't hit record just a few minutes ago, and we got like 5 minutes into this thing and lost it all because I'm a jackass and I'm still learning. So I do appreciate you popping in here, and you know, I'm extremely excited to hear a little bit about Mike and his background and how Blown Deadline came into existence. And Blown Deadline, they do the same stuff that we do. They're Cerakote shop, one of the best Cerakote shops around. One probably the most well known Cerakote shop around. So I really do appreciate you taking time because I know you're a busy fucking dude, man. But you know,
Everybody's so
so dude, Blown Deadline. What what were you doing before Blown Deadline came into existence? Why did Blown Deadline start?
well. I used to work for a tier one automotive manufacturer doing prototype interiors for the big three, Toyota, everybody. I mean, we would do IPs, which are dashboards, glove compartment doors, consoles, door panels, steering wheels, you name it. Mostly leather for the better cars, and then PUR for the cheaper cars. And basically, that was a contract job for a few years. And then when the contract ran out, they didn't hire me as a full-time employee. So searching for a new job in the same field, I couldn't find anything in the Detroit metro area, which is insane because that's where 75% of all the cool shit and cars come from, Detroit. And if you can't get a job in the automotive industry in Detroit, either you suck or there's just nothing out there. And this was around the time when everybody was taking bailouts except for Ford or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a Ford guy. That's it. And there was no jobs. I mean, a lot of the tier one, tier two, and three factories were shutting down. And these are companies that employ more people than the actual big three when you think about it. Because, I mean, there's hundreds and thousands of different companies that do work for these companies. And when they're not doing work, nobody's doing work. So started painting a gun, my own gun,
Yeah.
and found out it wasn't too bad. So figured give it a shot.
Now, did you gain most of your popularity like from right from the get go, kind of like I did with like social media, right? That was your big thing, right, to start with.
You know, if it wasn't for Instagram, I mean, Instagram has changed. Everybody knows that it's not the same. We wouldn't be where we are today, honestly, because it was a free, cheap avenue to post pictures of guns that we paint. And then just a handful of the right people saw it, showed other people, and those people showed people. And some of the things we were doing weren't conventional as far as firearms. So that kind of made us stick out a little more. You know, my whole theory was black is not a good camo. So let's do some stupid shit and hopefully people like it.
Yeah, man. It still amazes me the power of social media, how it can. I mean, because it took you from grinding on a day job every day and then punching a clock to being able to write your own ticket now, dude. You probably live a really good life now. You come and go as you please. It's a beautiful thing working for yourself, right?
It is. It's as far as being your own boss. Yeah, you make your own hours. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I mean, I did the whole 15-hour days, 7 days a week. And then me and my wife, because she left her job to come here and work full time. After that, we said, we can't, this isn't fun.
Mhm.
We had to set some hours and try to stick to them because I would stay here all night long painting and doing stuff just to get stuff done.
Yeah.
But now we set our hours You know, if we have to come in extra for different bigger runs or whatever, we put in extra hours. But for the most part, it's a 40-hour week now.
Yeah, that's
which
good.
is nice, you know.
That's
Good feeling.
But are you like me, man? Do you run around working in flip flops and basketball shorts all year?
Eh, maybe not basketball shorts. Flip flops, no, because being diabetic, I gotta make sure I got some good shoes.
Ah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
I didn't even
But
think.
yeah, shorts. Wear the same shirts every day. I wear them at home. I don't care.
Yeah. Was that compressor?
Yeah, it always kicks out at the worst possible time, dude.
I know the feeling, dude. I know the feeling. So now, as far as your story when you started, you had a lot of struggles starting up. Tell us a little bit about the whole fire thing, dude.
You
That.
know, and this is the thing. Everybody, that's what they want to know. Even
Mhm,
though I don't think about it, but I have no problem talking about it. You know
mhm,
what I mean? Like my wife, she's a little more apprehensive because, well, shit happens. But what happened was, if anybody's done any type of prep work, an AR and a painting, you got
mhm.
to get rid of the grease and oil. And the little dust covers don't come apart. So what's the best way to get rid of that? Take a
Blowtorch.
torch,
Mhm,
torch them up, bubble it out, clean them, basically rinse and repeat until nothing is coming out. Obviously, you don't want to get it too hot because you'll damage the springs and then it's a piece of shit. She used to be a nurse, like I said. She would come home after a 12-hour shift and she would come out and help me prep and get stuff ready.
mhm.
And this was, I mean, we didn't have tons of business, but we still had business, and it was supplementing me not going out and trying to find a job. You know what I mean? So she was torching some port doors, and what she didn't realize is that there should be no flame on them. When
Mhm.
you dip them in the acetone or degreaser, whichever you use, and it was out, or so she thought. And then when she dropped it in there, there was a quick flash fire. It just,
And
but
for
it
those
was,
for those of you guys that don't ever screw around with acetone, it's some really really crazy flammable shit. Uh,
I mean, it's highly combustible.
and I imagine it wasn't a little small vat of acetone. I know we keep ours in big tubs, so
It was about a 5 gallon thing of acetone.
I.
And you can't extinguish that. At least you can now because now I have the right equipment. But
Mhm,
then we were just literally trying to get by with what we had, you
mhm.
know. So when it started, I was in the booth spraying, and she's like, "There's a fire." And I turned around and I was like, "Okay, not a big deal. You cover it up, and it'll extinguish itself." Well, what happened was it didn't extinguish itself, and it was furthest from the door, which was nice because it could have been a lot different outcome. And it got on the floor and then started creeping up the walls. And at that time, it was my sister-in-law and my wife and I was there. At that time, I just said, "Listen, get the fuck out. I'll try and deal with it."
Yeah.
And again, you didn't have the right equipment to deal with a chemical fire. So once it only took 90 seconds for the place to be black and full of smoke.
Mhm.
After that, it was like, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
So you bail, and it only burned for less than 3 minutes. The fire department was there quick,
You know,
which
uh,
the damage, though, in 3 minutes was insane.
a lot of people don't realize some of the struggles of a small business starting out like that, just trying to make things work that aren't necessarily made to work for a certain purpose. So
Right.
I understand that 100%. Um, but how bad did that set you back? Like, um,
Financially or mentally or both.
probably both. Money is money. You can make more of that stuff, but I mean,
Right.
that had to screw with your brain a little bit. Like,
You know,
what did
it
it
was,
take for you not to just hang it
to
up?
quit, to just give up.
Yeah.
Well, um, This was, I remember the days. It was December 13th. I remember the exact day. I don't remember the year, but 4, maybe 5 years ago. After that, it was like, we started back in September. We leased a new building. It needed to be brought up to code and built out and all that. So we put everything we had into that so we can move to this bigger space and open up a real shop. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with doing it in your garage. There's guys that do it in your garage. As long as you're doing it legally, that's fine. But that was my huge investment. So it's like, do we walk away from the 20 plus grand we put into that and possibly get sued because we signed a lease and all the repercussions for that? Or do we just stick with it and cash out? We cashed out both our IRAs, me and my wife, cashed it all out just to be able to buy firearms for people that lost them. I mean, Glock was great. Damon was a huge help. We sent him probably 20 frames that were melted, and he took care of it. He sent them to Glock, and we got new frames, everything. I mean, guys like Santan, Dennis from Santan, he offered to replace everybody's receiver set with a brand new Santan set. And, I mean, there was a brand new Scar 17. That was a kick in the dick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to buy that. A $2,500 Night Force scope, or it was expensive. It was almost 120 grand that we had to come up with. And it wasn't due to the fact that insurance would cover it. Insurance wanted itemized lists of every nut, bolt, tool. It took 9 months for insurance to actually write us a check.
Wow.
9 months. But I wasn't going to tell people, the first thing we did, we called everybody because we had backup paperwork for everybody. So we contacted everybody and let them know what happened, what's going on, and what our plan was. And our plan was to try to replace this stuff as soon as possible. And that's what we did. Yeah. But, it took us almost six weeks to 8 weeks to replace $75,000 just worth of firearm stuff. That was tough, man.
Yeah, that's a pretty big setback, man. It's very impressive, and it says a whole lot about yours and your wife's character to not fold.
No, that was the most important thing. If we were going to fold, we had to at least take care of everybody that lost stuff. Because I'm hearing nightmare stories now about companies that went out of business, with other people's firearms. And I'm thankful we didn't have Grandpa's Civil War musket in there. Everything that we had that was damaged or destroyed was replaceable.
Yeah.
Which was nice. We even covered FFL fees for people who had to get things transferred. That we covered all of that, everything.
Well, that's good. I mean, it says a lot. It speaks volumes how you handle adversity. As anything, as a business owner, as an employee, as anything.
As a human, yeah.
It's that's tough. That's a tough situation to be in. And
the hardest part was social media made us, and it tried to break us too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Most communities, they like to stick together. And I'm going to say that I would say 90% of all the people that supported us were in the industry. But it's those 1, 2, 3, or 4 people that make those threats or accusations. Those are the ones that you remember the most.
Oh yeah. You sit there and you watch the dog pile happen, and you're like, fuck. I mean, and at the time there won't shit you could do about it. So
no, we were told it was we did it for fraud.
Yeah.
To get insurance money. It's like, really? Yeah. I tried to tell my wife and my sister. I actually like my wife. I don't know about everybody else, but I like her. I love her. And that was the last thing that ever, but that's what people see or they hear. And then that was the problem, because that's where social media, I had to get away from it because I was losing my mind. I was ready to quit and just say, hey, everybody, fuck off Instagram, fuck off Facebook. But we stuck with it,
And it's a good thing you did, man. I mean, look where you're at, dude. It's you know, it's hard to look at it, you know, like a month after or 2 months after, and say something like this. But at the same time, now today, you can look at it and be like, well, maybe it won't the best thing that could have happened, but it
But
really
it
did.
was, though.
It
It
made.
ended up being that, though,
Mhm.
which is insane. How do you lose all that shit? It ended up being the greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Because from there, no pun intended, we blew up,
Hmm. Yeah.
literally and figuratively, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Very, very true. Very true. And then hell, what, 2 years ago you had another kick in the dick, man. Uh,
Yeah, well,
you want to talk about that, or
which dick kick was that? Because I've had
uh,
a
the
few.
the C word, man, the C word?
Oh yeah, that's that's laughable, but we could definitely talk about that. That doesn't bother me at all.
It has to be fucking scary though. They just up out of the blue. I mean, how did you know? Did you feel funny or?
Yeah, we were at SHOT Show
Okay.
when I first started noticing. Like I thought it was the altitude. I'm getting old, being cramped up on a plane. My right leg started to swell up,
Okay.
like, and I've never had that problem. So I was thinking, well, I'm diabetic. Maybe it's diabetes related, and it went away.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It was May or so. I started doing it again. So this time we went in, and the doctor, he was just a PA. He wasn't a real doctor, but he could write prescriptions, all that.
Hmm.
He's like, well, we'll try these water pills. You know, just drink lots of water and you're retaining water. So now I'm thinking, great, I'm an old man, start having all these issues. And after a few visits, one of the resident came in and said, listen, we're going to send you for this scan, that scan, this one, this one. And they found like clumped lymph nodes in my abdomen. And then they started noticing like under your arms, your armpits, and stuff like that were starting to swell up.
Okay.
And then he's like, you know, we're going to send you to an oncologist. And I was absolutely terrified because my nephew, he died of, what was it, leukemia 10 years ago.
Okay.
And, you know, and that's scary watching someone go through that. And he's just a little kid. You know, I watched my grandmother go through it. Everybody's watched somebody with cancer, and it's not fun. So here I am trying to make plans because I'm thinking it's the end of the world. That's it. And it turns out we went and saw the oncologist. He was straight to the point, kind of a dick. And my Dana's sister, she's a hospice. She works with hospice. She's like I don't know what you want to call him. And she said, well, I have a doctor, and she recommended us to him. And he said he literally called the next day, him, not his office, and said, I have you scheduled today. Come in today, and we'll go over it. And after the biopsy, he said, he smiled. He said, it's nothing. Follicular lymphoma. I mean, it's something. If untreated, obviously,
Yeah.
it could go bad. But what happened is that big glob of lymph nodes in my gut was cutting off circulation to my kidneys.
Okay.
So now my kidneys were failing and all that. So I had to have stents put in so it would open them up, and then did 6 months of chemo. It wasn't crazy chemo. It felt like a hangover. And after 6 months, a couple PET scans, it was absolutely gone.
And you're
Like
free
that.
free to this day, right?
Free to this day. Every 3 months I go in for a chemo. It's basically maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
The next day it feels like a really bad hangover. It's not. I'm not losing hair, throwing up, and you know, there's people that take fucked up chemo and radiation. I didn't need any of that, and it's kind of crazy when you see a doctor happy to see you and smile because he's got good news. You know, I can't imagine that too many oncologists get to be happy. You know what I mean? When they're talking to
They're
a
not
patient.
they're not the bringers of good news most of the time, right?
Usually not, you know. And, you know, I was making plans. I was doing all this. And I was like, so should I start paying my house off and doing all this crap because I'm going to be dead in a year? And he said, hell no. Keep living, keep doing what you're doing. So I spent a lot of money on my car.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm not sure if you guys don't follow Mike on Instagram, y'all need to get on there. He puts pictures up of his Mustang. Uh, he's he really likes his Mustang to say the least, I think.
More pictures of my car than my wife. Doesn't mean I love one more than the other, though.
Yeah, there might be more pictures of the car than there are on guns. It's
It's close. It's
uh,
close.
but the Mustang's badass. I mean, how powerful you say that thing is?
Well, I mean, it was real dynoed at 926 to the rear wheels.
That's insane.
It's stupid. It really is. But I can say I have it.
Yes,
Simple as
you
that.
can. Yes, you can. What's if you had to sell it? What kind of hit would you take on that thing?
Take a huge hit. I'd ask 65, and I would accept 50, honestly, just to be out of it. I mean, I don't owe anything on it, so it doesn't matter. And I'll just take that money, put it in the bank or whatever. It's just one of those things. I like my F-150. It's cheap. It's a lease. I
Mm-hmm.
can't spend money on it, so simple as that.
Nice, nice. So, so the Cerakote, you do you see yourself retiring from this?
You know, retirement is just. I'm young. It's too
Mm-hmm.
far away. It's hard to even determine. I mean, I don't see me doing anything else.
I got you.
You
See,
know,
the reason I asked that, the way I look at it, I'm like, somebody asked me, well, what are you going to do when you retire? And I step back and I think about it. I'm like, what the fuck do I have to retire from? I love this stuff. Um, uh, that there's nothing to retire from, and I was just wondering if you kind of felt about the same way.
it's to me, it's not a job.
Mm-mm.
Honestly, it's like when people say, "Oh, Monday," or I thank God it's Friday. Yes, I'm happy. But when Monday comes along, it's any other day. It's not any worse than any other day. So
Yeah,
I
man.
enjoy coming to work.
That's good.
You know,
That's good, man. And that's a goal that everyone should have is to find
sure.
something that they don't spend their day Sunday dreading the next day.
Yeah, I did many of those days. So
All right. So here's one that kind of stumps me when someone asks me this question. What do you see Blown Deadline being in 5 years, in 10 years? I mean, where do you see yourself?
being the best Cerakote company in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay, I'm glad you said Pacific Northwest because no,
Well,
dude, say it. The country, Mike.
everybody wants to be the best,
Mhm.
and that's where a lot of people they don't understand. Like, say me and you, or you and Matt, or me and Matt from Republic Rifle. I mean, or even Russ from Nevada Cerakote. If everybody's good at what they do, some people do things better than others,
Mhm.
and I would send somebody. If someone said, "Hey, I want Callahan cam," I would send them to Matt.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not gonna. I don't like to copy, and I always tell people we don't like to copy. But if we do it, we'll do it our way,
Mhm.
and like it or love it. If you want it that way, you have to send it to the guy that did it
Yeah.
because they do it better than we do.
You know.
And that's what it comes down to is everybody in this industry. Is cutthroat.
Yeah.
Everybody in this firearm industry knows that. Even Cerakoters are cutthroat. But I think we have a nice group of guys that all get along very well.
Mhm.
And if you needed help, I would help you. If I needed help, you would help me. Same with Matt and Russ and any of those guys. Steve and
Exactly. You know what's funny about the people who are best in whatever they do? They never have to tell anybody.
that's my thing.
Um,
If you have to tell people that you're trying to convince somebody.
I feel the same way,
You know?
man. You'll never hear me say I'm better than anybody at this. You'll never hear you say you're better than anybody at this. I've known you.
Never.
I've known you probably 5 years now, or something
Yeah.
like. Never once. He's the same dude. He Mike is the same dude he was when he was working out of his garage as he is right now. And Mike pushes lots of volume through that shop. So it says something about somebody's character, no doubt.
I'd say we are the best at dragging a rifle on the ground.
You
After-
you are really good at throwing a rifle on the ground. I'm You know,
We did that battle worn shit like nobody else.
if you need something thrown on the ground or you need something set on fire, this is your guy, no
Let
doubt.
me know. I don't do the fire. That's Dana. Dana's the fire expert.
Oh.
I'm the battle worn guy.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Well, so tell me about something else you got going on, man. What you got going on new? You got anything new that you guys are working on, or you got like a passion project you want to get started, or?
Dude, I've got some B&T stuff that I really want to get painted.
Mm-hmm.
And like on my birthday, for instance, I took apart my gun and I painted my gun for my birthday. That was my day off.
That tells you how much the man loves this shit. He comes in on his birthday, on his day off to paint. So
and I finished it in that whole one day. I mean, I had to put it together the next day, but I finished it. So yeah, like the PS90 we just got, I want to get that painted because I got a cool idea for it. Some of the B&T stuff, I've got a Magnum 500, 5 or 6 blocks that are all in pieces. I'm sure you know how it is. Your own stuff, a couple AKs, they're all in bins that I use for customers, just in pieces.
Yeah, we're the landscapers that the lawn needs cut, right?
Yeah, and you have someone else do it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep.
Well, so all right. So part of the business thing. Okay, so you're in your 40s. If you go back, I'm being nice to you, dude. Let me be nice. Give me. But if you could go back and tell 20-year-old Mike something, what would you tell him?
Don't buy a Shelby, for one, because that's a money pit, and maybe put more money away when you had it 20 years ago. You know, now we're in a different position where we can do that, but then, you know, you just, when you're younger, you piss your money away as a kid. You're not worried about cancer. You're not worried about retirement. You're not worried about paying off your house. I mean, just put your money away.
Put it away.
College, so I would recommend. I would tell them to stay out of college.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I'm trying to talk my kids into that now. You know, unless they want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, engineer, shit like that.
Type of professional, I think you need. Obviously, you need some school,
but dude, I'm not paying for any women's studies degrees. I can fucking tell you that right now. No way.
Or religious degrees. I mean, what are you going to be, a cult leader? That would be a job. I mean,
well, it depends. You saw the thing on Netflix about what was the dude?
The Indian guy?
Yeah, man. That dude had it going on for a little bit, man.
Private jets, you name it, man.
Well, what he had, like 20 Rolls Royces?
Yeah.
Stupid.
What the hell was his name? Oh my God, that was hilarious though, and the way he talked.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little creepy, man.
Freaking crazy, man. Cults are a funny fucking thing, man. Cults are crazy. That's
organized religion for you.
But dude, I mean, you know, that's about all I wanted to go over, man. I can't thank you enough for coming on here and being my first interview. Like I said, you were the logical choice, man. We're friends who should not be friends, and you know, I appreciate everything. You know, I really do. I appreciate you a lot, man.
I appreciate you. I mean, you're the guy that said when the cancer thing hit and I was going to be getting chemo, you said you'd come up here and paint. That alone that's insane.
I'll do.
How many other Cerakoders would do that?
I don't.
Maybe a couple.
I mean, I would like to think so, but you know, that all goes back to the way that my parents raised me, dude. You know, that won't shit. I really figured that you guys would take advantage of some of that free labor, but suckers.
Do that with other people around here. So,
but look, man, how about telling these guys, you know, your website and how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. They can check out, it's blowndeadline.net. Make sure it's .net. I used to own .com, .org, all the others, but someone squatted on it and tried to sell it back to me for 10 grand. So there's our contact phone number, email, Instagram feed, gallery, pretty much all the information. If you have any questions, you can give us a call. Numbers on the website, email, everything.
And he's the guy. He's one of the guys that if I did not do this, he would get my shit. So,
And I say the same about you.
oh, I love you.
But I mean that too.
Well, I hope so. I hope so because I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
That's awesome.
So look, guys, I appreciate everybody, listening in here on the Weapon Works podcast. Make sure you subscribe, whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google SoundCloud. I really appreciate everybody being here, and we're going to get off of here, and so we can come back and paint some more guns tomorrow. But everybody have a wonderful day. Once again, Mike, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mike will be one of the recurring guys on here, hopefully. So everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to everyone later.
Thanks.